Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? It is 2:48 p.m. and I'm rolling through Starbucks to get my coffee. My cup is over here. This side, I put it back in there last night. And it is 76 degrees outside. It's really nice. So I thought I would get my coffee and vlog. Could I please get a venti brown sugar oat milk shake and espresso, please?
Yeah, venti brown sugar oat milk shake and espresso.
Nope, that's it, Jacob. Thank you. Okay. So I'm getting a late start to my day. My back pain is back. And it's so weird because I just was talking about it on my vlog the other day and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I got that shot last year and it took care of everything and everything was fine. And then the next day, my back started hurting just a little bit. And each day, it's been a little bit worse. But manageable. Like, I couldn't really tell if it was, like, coming back or, if it was just, like, you know, I couldn't tell if it was, like, a return of what happened last summer or if it was just my back hurting a little bit, you know, whatever. And so last night, before my meeting, my back was really hurting. And went to my meeting, took some leave, it kind of helped a little bit. And then I got home from my meeting and Alex and I watched Pose, and I ate my dinner, and when I got up to like go to upstairs, so I was gonna lay down for like an hour and then go vlog, it was like it was last summer. It was like I almost couldn't stand up. And so last night Alex was like, you've got to call the doctor, blah, blah, blah. That's a friend of ours. And he was like, you've got to set up an appointment to go in, like, don't wait this time. So I was like, well, I'm going to wait a couple days to see if it feels better, but I went to bed last night at midnight, and I woke up a couple times throughout the night, and my back, I could hardly turn over. It was hurting so bad. So, when I got up today, I immediately texted him, and he's gonna have his assistant set up an appointment with me ASAP to come in. I'm just really scared because he said the last time if the shot didn't work, then we would have to look at surgery. And I'm not gonna borrow trouble. Besides my back hurting, I'm in a really positive mood today. So I'm not gonna go down that road of my fear and my worry and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I think last year was actually, if you watched my vlogs last year from when I was going through the back pain stuff, it was actually a really good lesson for me as far as, you know, talking to people about my fear and, you know, working through that with my sponsor and my dad and the doctor and, you know, praying on it a lot and just realizing that I'm not in control of every situation, you know. And so I got up today, like I said, and I took some leave. It seems to be helping a little bit. And walking around, I took the dogs for a walk outside, just to kind of move a little bit. Just right down the street, I didn't take them very far. And it seems to be a little bit better. When I'm sitting up straight, I'm like fine. If I'm standing, I'm fine. It's when I'm like laying on my side or I'm sitting in a comfortable chair. So, I don't know, I just don't want to go back to where I was last year. But like I said, I'm not going to borrow trouble. We'll see what, I'm sure he can't get me in this week. I think he only has office hours on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, so maybe I'll be able to look at, I don't know when his office hours are, but I think that he doesn't have them past Thursdays, so I'm sure it'll be like the beginning of the week, if he can even get me in that quickly, you know, who knows, we'll see. So that's where I'm at. That's why I didn't vlog last night. I'm trying to stay positive about it too, and I'm also trying to like because I was kind of thinking to myself, well, maybe I'll just relax today, you know, and not make a bunch of videos. But the reality is, what am I going to do? Just sit there and have my back hurt, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, there might be a day that I literally can't make videos. So I should make videos while I can, because I can still get up. It's just sore. It's just sore. It's not, you know, to the point where I can't move around. But anyway, I think it's a big wake-up call too, that, you know, like, and I don't want to get into a long conversation about this today either, but it's a good wake-up call when I know that my weight has something to do with my back, and here we are a year later and I'm the same weight. You know, it's like a wake-up call, like, you've got to do something about this weight, or you're going to have more and more health issues as time goes on. I mean, the fact that I'm 48 years old and I'm heavier and I haven't had worse health issues is like a miracle at this point, you know what I mean? So gotta start taking better care of myself. I think that's the lesson.
And on bar is flies by. Hi, 649.
How are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Good, it's good to see you.
No, I'm never over here. And I know Josh has been running shifts now.
I know, he told me. I'm very proud of him.
Oh, so am I. Oh my god, I'm incredibly, especially how quick he's learning. He's
Yeah.
doing an incredibly amazing job.
I'm so happy for you guys.
No, it's so nice. Oh my goodness. I'm so
Is this it? Thank you.
Sugar, yep, you are all set.
Have a good one.
All right, yeah, thank you, Peter.
Bye-bye. So Josh, who I did the video with, the barista, who I'm real friendly with him, and that's his fiance, Jacob, just got, he is like shift supervisor or shift something manager or shift something, I don't know. Anyway, so when I came through here yesterday, he was like in the window and he was like, yeah, my training's all done and I love it, and he was real excited about it. So that's so exciting, isn't it? There. I think out of all the cups that I bought, this is my favorite, which is so funny because this was the last one that I bought too. Like, I almost didn't buy it. So yeah, I'm just gonna vlog for a little bit today, and then I'm gonna go to another Starbucks. I feel like everybody is mowing. I'm gonna go to another Starbucks, and I'm gonna do this Caribbean refresher review, and then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do a Peterisms video. There's not tons of drama going on today, so I don't know that I'm gonna do a drama video today. We'll see what's going on out there. I like to do the drama videos just to have fun, but if there's nothing going on, I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna pull a 25-minute video about, you know, somebody's eyelash fell off at a red carpet event or something. I wanted to do my video announcing my June book for Peter's Book Club. I ordered it from Amazon Prime, and it was supposed to come in the mail today, but it wasn't there when I left. So hopefully it'll be there when I get back, and I can do that video, or at least get that post up. I feel like there's an echo in here. So yesterday I got a bunch of stuff done. Oh yeah, I also today I called the landscaper that was going to come out and do an estimate on our house. I'm not used to working with landscapers. Is this like, is this just kind of a thing? Do they kind of just like work on a different time schedule or something as the rest of the world? Because I called like a week ago, and she just called me back yesterday, or I can't remember, was it yesterday or the day before? Yesterday. and was like, yeah, I'm coming out there to do this estimate. And I'm like, it's been like 6 days at this point. I mean, I think most people would have found somebody else, you know? And she was like, and I'm wanting to know, is it just the walk on either side? Like she had driven by, obviously, to see, like, you know, what it looked like. She knew what it looked like. And so I called her back today. And she didn't answer, but I thought by now, Alex has the name of somebody too. I mean, it's going to be like August before we get this done. And now I wish we would have just done it, because if my back starts hurting and stuff, I'm not going to have my husband out there doing it alone, because that's just, he did it one summer all by himself, and I felt really bad, and we were going to do it together last weekend. But, so we'll see. I don't know. If she calls me back before she comes out and does the estimate, I might actually see if she can give me 2 estimates, like one to just mulch it and whatever, and 2 to put bushes in. Although the way that the front porch looks now, I think it would almost be nicer if we just didn't have any bushes in it and we just kept the hostas. I think it might look nicer that way, actually. I wish we had not taken the hostas out at the end, because then we would have 3 plants of hostas on either side. Anyway, so yeah, I got all that stuff done yesterday, got ready on time and left the house to pick up Tanya on time, and went and got her, and we went to our meeting last night, had a fantastic meeting, talked about gratitude, and what else? Then we hung around and talked to some of our friends afterwards for a while. It was a nice evening. It's supposed to be like in the mid-80s this weekend, Tanya said. And then we took our friend home. Well, I took Tanya to the gas station first to get her, because she wanted to get a fountain pop. And then we took our friend home. We had a good time. We were laughing and stuff. This was our friend that had the thing on Monday night. And, and then, yeah, then I took Tanya home, and then I came home, and Alex and I watched Pose. I was laughing because when my friends were coming in, who is calling me? Oh, I need to take this in case this is setting up the doctor's appointment. I'll be right back. Well, that was fantastic. So I have an appointment tomorrow at 10:45. And he's going to do the evaluation on me and look at it and then go from there. And she said if we have to do the injection again, maybe he can do that tomorrow. I'm like, so soon? She's like, yeah. She's like, let's just get you in. So, oh my God, I can't believe it. So I'm so happy about that. Oh, I was really worried I was going to have to wait like 2 weeks, and it was just going to be like really bad for the next 2 weeks. Awesome. So that's the back situation taken care of. Well, at least we'll see. I mean, he might say it's gotten worse, and we, you know. Well, I feel relieved. I feel positive about that. So anyway, about last night, I don't even remember what I was saying. There's like this little speck on the camera. It's like right here, and it's driving me crazy. It won't go away. It's like a little piece of like lint or something on the camera. It's driving me nuts. Anyway, I just won't look at it. So, yeah, I took Tanya home, then I came home, and Alex and I watched Pose. Are you guys watching it this season? It's so sad. Like, it's so unbelievably sad. Isn't there some superstition about when a hearse passes you by? Something like that. Well, hearse just drove by. They still, to this day, they like scare me when I see them. I don't like hearses. It reminds me of this movie that my friends and I watched in high school. And it was like one of the scariest horror movies that I've ever seen. Oh, why can't I remember what it was called? I want to say Phantasm, but I don't think it was Phantasm. It was with that old guy, and he was in a funeral home, and there was like that little thing that like darted around. Do you guys remember that? Was that Phantasm? It was like one of the scariest movies ever, but I remember like he drove a hearse, obviously, because he ran a funeral home. It wasn't a funeral home that he like ran though. It was like a mausoleum or something. Anyway, I don't like hearses. They spook me out. They freak me out. So what was I gonna say? Yeah, Pose is really sad this season. So it's the last season, and it just is really sad. Like, they're kind of going in and, well, next episode I'm kind of confused as to what it's going to be about. But they're going in and they're kind of like telling the background stories of each of the characters, and then they're like wrapping up the story, if that makes sense. Like bringing them some closure. I mean, it's really in a healing way. It's fantastic. But yesterday's whole episode was about Billy Martin. Is that his name? I think that's his name. That plays Pray Tell on the show. The whole episode was all about him. And really, really a fantastic episode. Alex and I were both bawling our eyes out. I need to get some gas, too. What is this over here? There's this huge tent. What is going on? Should we go see what it is? There's a huge tent with flags and stuff on the top of it. It looks like a carnival. What's going on? I love a carnival. Isn't it really a carnival? Oh my God, I would be so excited. My favorite thing at the carnival when I was a kid growing up was throwing the what do you call it? Throwing the balls, the ping pong balls in the thing. And I was like, is that Melissa? And winning goldfish, those beta fish. Oh my God, I love that so much. Then you'd carry that bag of fish around with you. I look back on that now, and that probably wasn't really that nice. But I do have kind of this kind of endearing story about my ex. And so I have this we had gone to the Jackson County Fair, which is where Seymour, Indiana is where he's from. And we had gone with our two friends, the ones that I went down to that funeral for our friend Scotty a couple years ago. 2 years, I think it was 2 summers ago. Yeah, because tomorrow is 2 years since Alex's best friend Jason passed away. It seems crazy. And then Scotty passed away that summer after that. But, so my ex and I had gone to the Jackson County Fair, and I had won this goldfish, this beta fish, who I named Johnny. He was blue and he was beautiful. And I brought him home, and I had him in this tank, which we ended up getting more fish for this tank. But there was a rule, and the rule was that we were going to have a fish tank, but I didn't have to take care of it, because I didn't like to clean out a fish tank and stuff. My ex always cleaned it out, and he was great at it. But we had 2 clownfish, and their names were Joe Beth and Mary Rose from the book, I'm a Prisoner in the Library, Help, I'm a Prisoner in the Library. What is going on here? Here, I'm just going to show you guys this. It looks like maybe it's an RV show or something, because there's a bunch of RVs and stuff around here. What is going on? Is it Cirque du Soleil? Oh my God, it says Cirque on something. What is it? Cirque Italia? Cirque Italia? What is going on here? Is this a Cirque show? No way. Cirque Italia. What is going on here? Oh my, look at that tickets. Cirque Italia. Dive into the magic world of Cirque. Cirque Italia. America's first water circus. Oh my God. Welcome, Cirque Italia. I don't think it's necessarily the same thing as O. It doesn't really look like it. But I just like drove over here really thinking it was just gonna be like an RV show or something, and it's Cirque Italia. I'm gonna have to look that up later. No, don't let me forget that. Okay. Where am I going? I got this coffee when in all reality, you know what I really wanted was a fountain pop. You're probably thinking, then you should have got a fountain pop. Well, I didn't. Oh, my back. So, what was I talking about? Oh, Johnny. So, we had Johnny for a long time. Johnny lived to be about, I don't know, like 4 years old, 5 years old. Oh, man. And, one night we were sitting there and Johnny was kind of swimming on his side a little bit. And I got real upset. And I was like, oh my God, Johnny's sick, Johnny's sick. Like, I was really worried about him. And I went over and I was like checking the bowl to make sure he was okay. And my ex was like, Johnny's fine, don't worry about him. I was like, he's not fine. He's swimming on his side. Fish don't swim on their sides. There's something wrong with him. So my ex, like, got another bowl and took him out of the tank and put up this bowl with this, I mean, he hooked the whole thing up. And he called it Johnny's hospital room and was very sweet about the whole thing. And, I was very upset about this fish. And so the next day I had to work, and it was a Thursday because it was family night, and I had to work late. And I remember as soon as I walked out, I like called him, and I was like, how's Johnny? Is Johnny doing okay? Blah, blah, blah. And there was just like silence on the phone. And I was like, well, what happened? And he was like, babe, Johnny died. And I was like, what? And he was like, you know, he was really sick. And he was like, he died, you know. And I was like, I lost it completely. And I was like, well, did you say anything to him? Like, I said, what did you do? And he said, I took care of everything. Don't worry about it. Everything's taken care of. And I said, well, did you say anything to him? Like, before, you know, he said, yes. He said, I don't know why to this day this story still gets me so, like, emotional. But I was so attached to that damn fish. I was probably more attached to that damn fish than I am half the people in my life. And, so he said, yeah, I told him, I said, well, you were a good friend, Johnny. We loved you. And I just, like, lost it. So, flash forward. Let me get this lamp off here. I don't know why it's doing that. It's driving me crazy. There, it's gone. Flash forward to when he and I broke up. I said something to Tanya one night about, I've told this story in here before. Other people are probably like, you're telling this story so slow today. I said something to Tanya about Johnny and the fish, you know? And she, like, laughed and said something like, which Johnny? And I was like, what are you talking about, Tanya? And she's like, oh, never mind. And I was like, no, tell me. And she was like, oh, no, it doesn't matter. And I go, no, tell me, what are you talking about? Like, I can't remember how she said it, but she said something. And she was like, there were several Johnnies. And I go, what are you talking about? And she said, well, she was like, you know, betta fish don't live real long, Peter, especially ones that you get from the Carnival. And I was like, yes, they do. I was like, Johnny lived like 4 or 5 years. And she's like, no. She was like, there were like 10 Johnnies. She was like, he would come home from work because like he got off before I did, and so he would come home from work before I did, and he would come home and Johnny would be gone, he would be dead, and so he would call Tanya and say, call Peter and have him come over and hang out with you for a while I go to the pet store and I get another Johnny, so that he's not like super upset when he comes home. And I didn't know it. I never knew it. Is that not God? I think that's such a kind act, don't you? Do you guys like my sunglasses? I think these are actually Alex's. But he now has a table that he is complete. It's my old nightstand. We now have it outside in the hall from the bedroom. And he has it displayed, are you ready? With all of his sunglasses, as well as the Scentbird cologne dispensers, so that for the day he can decide which Scentbird cologne he's gonna take, because we have like, you know, 10 of them now, and which pair of sunglasses. And so he grabs it right before he goes. So he has them all laid out. It's real cute. But yesterday he was like, when I was like walking out to my meeting, I had these on, and I had bought this blue shirt to wear to Melissa's birthday dinner, and so I wore it again last night, and so I had these sunglasses on, and I was trying to look real nice and whatever. He was like, you look so nice. I was like, thanks. He's like, are those my sunglasses from upstairs? I was like, And he said, do you still have the cases for the ones that because I put a pair of glasses, like my regular glasses. Was it my glass? Oh, it was my reading glasses. I put them, because they just come in this little bag. To pack them, I put them in a pair of where are they at? This thing right here, see? And he's like, well, can you bring it back in? And I said, sure, but like for what? And he was like, I want each pair of glasses to have a case with it. I was like, okay, Mr. Organized. His side of the closet literally looks like you walked into like a clothing store. Like every shirt is folded like Abercrombie. And I mean, he is so detailed, color coded. Everything's color coded. The shoes are all organized. All the socks are organized. Mine is not at all. But then my side of the bed is pretty clean. Although I have probably 10 pairs of shoes on the floor. Because I have like 4 pairs of plastic Birkenstocks, 3 pairs of regular Birkenstocks, my Birkenstock clogs that I have yet to wear, a couple pairs of sneakers. What else is over there? That's it, I think. But I take off my clothes and I keep them like very like folded and just like one outfit on the couch that has the thing over there. Last night, I have to tell you guys the weirdest thing. Last night when I was driving home, and I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to eat, and for some reason, like I was driving over here and I passed this Burger King, and I was like, do you guys know the original chicken sandwich from Burger King? That like long sandwich? I used to love that. I get 2 of those and a large onion ring, and I was set to be free, okay? Like I loved those, what do you call it? Those long onion, or long original chicken sandwiches. I don't know why this camera is doing this today, but it won't just sit still. Sit still. I was driving by here last night and I had the weirdest feeling. It was just like, well, you could go in and get a chicken sandwich and just not be a vegetarian anymore. Like, I, honest to God, like, I never, like, that thought never crosses my mind. Like, and I didn't do that, but, I mean, that never crosses my mind. I never think about eating meat, you know? I think it was because maybe in the meeting last night, I was talking about the difference between the desire to drink and wanting a drink. Like, those are two very different things to me. Like, if I say, wow, a beer sounds good right now, like, or, hey, it'd be fun to be able to have a beer on the beach or something like that, that's a completely different statement, I believe, than I have a desire to drink. Like, I feel like a desire is like a deep-seated, rooted, like, I really have a strong need to have it. Does that make sense what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So the two are, to me, very different between a want and a desire. Like, a want is just something like, oh, I want this. You know, a desire is like, I really long for it, or I'm thinking about it. So maybe that's why I was thinking about it last night, but I don't ever think about eating meat. Like, never. Like, I can't say that I will be I just was driving by and I was reading that sign, and it was by this Michelle somebody, plastic surgeon. I almost said, I can't say I'll be a plastic surgeon for the rest of my life. I can't say that I'll be a vegetarian for the rest of my life, just like we don't borrow that in recovery either. You know, it's one day at a time. Like, I can't say that I'll be sober for the rest of my life, but I can't really imagine what it would take at this point for me to pick up and use. Like, I don't know what it would take for me to get there in my life. Does that make sense? Like, I almost can't even conceptualize that. I'm kind of there with the eating meat, too. Like, I've long ago stopped counting. Like, I don't even know if I'm coming up on 3 or 4 years of being a vegetarian. But, like, I long ago stopped counting. It just became this thing that I did. I don't really say that much about it. Like, honestly, it's really more my friends and family, because when we go out to eat, like, my friends will be like, well, is there going to be something here for you? And I'm just like, don't worry about it. I mean, like, I'm at the point now where, like, when I first started being a vegetarian, I was like fit to be tied if we went to a restaurant that was like a steakhouse. I was like, you mean all I can get is a baked potato? Oh no, we need to go somewhere where there are more options, right? But now, I don't even think about it. I'm just like, I mean, I do think about it, you know, but, like, I'm really kind of just like, wherever you want to go and I'll make it work. There'll be something on the menu, even if it's just a side salad and some bread, I'll make it work. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? It may not be the healthiest option on the menu, but I'll make it work. So, it's the weirdest thing, like, anymore. It's like, I don't think about it. I'm a vegetarian, I believe, with intention, which means I do it because of how I feel about it. My motives for why I have done it have changed over time. You know, when I started it, it was about, I feel like the entire time that I have been filming today, I've been in, like, the shadows. You know, but the reason that I started it was really just to see if I could do it, because I had been a vegetarian before. I wanted to try to be a vegetarian again and see how that would work. And then I had seen that video that was total propaganda, that I think it was put out by PETA or something like that. And it was talking about erasing your carbon imprint. So, my back is hurting so bad right now. It's like the more I talk, the more I can just kind of forget. And you know what I think is going to happen too? This was kind of like, did you ever play with Murphy's Law? So I was like, if you don't call and try to schedule an appointment when Alex told you should call right now, then the pain will get worse. But if you call right away, you might wake up tomorrow and feel 100% better. See? That's what I was thinking. So, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, got my back. It's like, if you can imagine my rib cage, like below my rib cage, like on either side, but below my rib cage, and it feels like it's like tightening. I don't even know how to explain it. It hurts so bad. So So yeah, when I started to be a vegetarian, Tanya and I always joke that this house right here looks like, do you see they have like this big gate? It's not like this huge house or anything, but they have this big metal gate, and then they have these huge bushes. Do you see the huge bushes right here? So you can't even really see onto their property. I mean, they're on like this kind of like just side street, and they have this huge metal. Tanya and I are always like, those are some like drug lords are in there or something like that. It's like Scarface's compound or something. Anyway, yeah, when I started to be a vegetarian, it was like, I had been one before, and the reason why I had been one before was really because my mom had always wanted to be one, and she hadn't been. So that was kind of like part of my motivation before, right? And so when she got sick and stuff, that's when I did it. And I was then a very healthy vegetarian. That I was working out every day. That was like when my mom was sick and then she passed away. I literally was working. I sometimes forget, like, well, what was I doing when I left the hospital when my mom was sick? I was going and working out. I worked out every single day. I was like a maniac working out. I was probably, no lie, I was probably 80 to 90 pounds thinner than I am now, and I was completely toned. And, yeah, I was exactly at least 80 pounds, maybe 90 pounds thinner than I am right now, which is unbelievable to me. I just am like, God, what happened? So, and I enjoyed being a vegetarian. And my best friend at the time, who lives in Denver, he has been a vegetarian for like so much of his life. And so he was really encouraging of it. And when I was going out there to visit him, we would go to these restaurants, and I remember he took me to some fantastic vegetarian restaurants in Denver. And we went to some really fun restaurants. There was this restaurant I remember we went to, and it was called Lime, and it was outside, and it was a Mexican restaurant, and they served you shots of tequila in like half limes, but I didn't drink, so like they gave you a free shot of tequila to start, like before, like when you got there. And so that was fun. And I remember we went to some restaurant, I still get emails from them, and it was right down, because he lived in Cherry Creek. He lives in Cherry Creek, in Denver, and it was right down from, what's the place called? I can't believe the restaurant is still here after all these years. And I remember that night we went with he and his husband, and I had mushroom risotto, and it was fantastic. And we would go to the Starbucks every day, and God, that was a fun summer. I was out there a lot. I went out there I would go out there, and then I would come home for like 2 weeks, and then I would go back out there for like 4 or 5 days. I thought I was going to move to Denver. But anyway, he was somebody that I really looked up to as far as like vegetarianism, because he had just kind of like, it wasn't a lifestyle for him, it just was what he was, you know, he just was a vegetarian. And so then this last time, I think partly it was being healthy, which, joke, because I'm like one of the most unhealthy vegetarians in the world. Although I loved what Joanna Tell was saying the other day. I hope I'm not horribly mispronouncing her name, but when she commented on the video and said that she thinks like there's a lot of social media influencer type people that are vegans and vegetarians that eat super healthy, but they only last it for a while. It's really hard to eat that. I mean, I'm not talking about like the way that I eat with like going out to dinner and fast food and stuff like that. Okay, that's like the far end of the spectrum of being unhealthy as a vegetarian. I'm talking about like really, really plant-based. Number one, it is extremely, if you have ever done it, it is extremely expensive, okay? Go to the grocery store, get enough fruits and vegetables to fill you up for a day, because the other thing that people forget is that vegetables and fruit move through your system really quick, right? Not to be gross about it, but they do. So when I was doing like the raw foods diet, I was eating like 1.5 bunches of bananas a day. I was eating huge salads, okay, 3 times a day, nuts, everything else. I was spending like $30 plus $40 a day at the grocery store. I mean, it's expensive to eat really, really plant-based and healthy. And then when you start doing things like almond butter and different kinds of butters like that instead of peanut butter that are more organic, or you start eating more organically, which is healthier, right? That ups the price of your stuff. Now, have you ever gone and looked and seen at like Trader Joe's what almond butter is compared to what peanut butter is? I can tell you it's about $5 more. But it is tastier and it is healthier, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And it is kind of fun to look into all of that. I would really love to be there. Honest to God, if I could be the person that ate mostly fruits and vegetables, I mean, I could force myself to get there, you know, and then just ate, you know, granola in the morning for breakfast with peanut butter and blueberries and honey on it and some almond milk. Like, that sounds fantastic to me. I really wish I was that vegetarian. The reality is, it's just easier to not be that vegetarian. It's all about being, you know, we were talking about this last night. One of my friends said, people don't stop coming to meetings because they don't want to come to meetings anymore, which I think is true. He said people stop coming to meetings because they get busy with their real lives, and then they realize that they need meetings, you know? It's like, it's just what's the fastest, easiest alternative, you know? I don't know. Maybe I make the change today. I haven't eaten today. I did get some of these strawberry cheesecake donuts last night at the gas station when Tanya stopped. But maybe I start today. Maybe on the way home, I go to Fresh Time and I get a bunch of stuff and I start today. You know? I love that Fresh Time grocery store. Clean everything else out and start eating more plant and fruit based as of today, and just say this is what we're doing. I mean, there's no time. There's what I used to always say, there's not enough tomorrows, you know, just got to start it today. There's a lot of traffic today. I kind of had this moment today when I was laying in bed and my back was hurting and I couldn't turn to my side. And I was like, I just had this conversation about my spiritual beliefs on here another night, but I was like, the other night, but I was like, God, I don't know that I can do this again. I don't know that I can go to where I can only move like 2 feet. I just want to say to all of you out there that are living with chronic physical pain on a daily basis, my heart goes out to you. I am sending prayers, and I have an appreciation for what you go through in a way that I never had before I went through. It stopped. I don't know how, I really have no clue how people live with chronic pain on a daily basis. Even medicated, I don't understand it. With really not a lot of hope that it's going to get any better either. Because this morning when I got up just to get a glass of water, and I was like, okay, I have to turn over, I have to sit up a certain way. I mean, it was in really a lot of pain. And I was like, I have to turn over, I have to do this, I have to do that, just to get out of the bed, to go downstairs and get a glass of water, you know? And I had just been talking about this last night in my meeting. I was like, am I in line? Is this a traffic line? What are we doing here? This is a lot of traffic. What's going on today? There's never usually this much traffic right here. But I was just saying, you know, like with gratitude, that you sometimes aren't grateful for something unless it's something that you had and then you don't have it anymore, but you're not grateful for it until it's gone, like your health sometimes, right? And I was actually thinking about all of this last night because my back had started hurting again and whatever. You know, I was laying there in bed this morning and I was kind of like just like talking to God, and I was like, it's because this is the thing. If you're not somebody that has had moments of it, I mean, I had what, last summer, 2 weeks or a month? I think it was like a month of the chronic pain when I finally got with somebody that was knew what they were talking about. You know, so it's like, I don't have any experience talking about it at all. I just have a glimpse of what that's like, right? But I will tell you, like this morning when I woke up and last night when the pain was excruciating the way that it was last summer, and not even as bad as the worst day last summer. But when I had kind of like I could kind of see, okay, this is the direction that we're going in, like my back's gonna start hurting again. My mental matched my physical very quickly. Like, I started losing hope very quickly. I was like, oh my God, here we go again. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do this, or all these things I wanted to do this summer. You know, I was just getting excited about this and blah, 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 whatever. And I just, like, so when we talk about chronic illness, and like I said, I don't know anything about it. I'm not an expert. I don't have any, I'm not educated. But I know that there are people that watch my videos that are, because you guys have shared your stories with me. I just want you to know how much I love you and I care about you. And I can't even begin to imagine what you go through on a daily basis. I just can't even imagine. And you know, I have a very good friend of mine. I didn't share a lot about this last summer. When I talked about a lot of my fear was that when you, so the doctor that I go to, that's also a friend of mine, and I don't judge people that do this, so this is your business, but he is a non-narcotic specialist, so he doesn't use narcotics when he deals with certain issues. And like he has a whole regimen of non-narcotics specialists that he does. So I felt a little bit safer going to him after I'd gone to the original doctor that was like, oh, well, this and this and this, and didn't know what he was talking about. One of the reasons why it really scared me is that we have a friend of ours that had double-digit years of sobriety, had back pain injury, and it was really the back pain that got her back out using again. And now she's using all kinds of stuff, but it was the back pain originally. And you know, as addicts and alcoholics, our minds are tricky. We can convince ourselves, well, I'm gonna start smoking pot for this, okay, because I have, let's say, a lot of pain or whatever, but then I'm going to well, then I need this, and then I need that, and then, well, maybe, and then you start smoking the pot, and it's like, well, maybe since I can handle it, I'm not an addict, you know, or whatever. It's tricky. It's very tricky. The mind of an addict is, you know, I remember when I got sober, my counselor said to me, every day that the addict is sitting on your shoulder, the sober person is sitting on your shoulder, getting stronger, telling you how much you can do, your active addict is on your shoulder telling you that you're going to use, you're going to mess up, and whatever. Speaking of which, one of my past sponsors that is very dear to me is very sick, so if you could please pray for him, I would really, really appreciate it. Sober, but sick and not doing well. Yeah, I have several friends of mine in my life. I have several friends of mine in sobriety that, you know, through the years we've had to take, you know, meetings to their homes and things like that because they live in chronic pain. They literally cannot leave their homes, you know? And I don't think you have any idea of what it's like until you just get a glimpse of it. And I've only but had a glimpse of it and thought to myself, I don't know how. And I really think that it's so empowering to know that there are people that are honestly doing this day in and day out. I mean, you're really role models, honestly, for what the rest of us have to go through on a much smaller level. When you're living with chronic pain every day, there's not a lot of hope. You're not being offered treatments, and yet you still get up every single day, you know, with a glimmer in your eye and a hope that today's going to be a pretty good day. And maybe what book can I read today? Or, hey, I'm going to watch Peter's vlog or whatever. And I think that's pretty phenomenal. So, thank you for, you know, I don't know. I can't even imagine. Back to the vegetarianism thing, though, which I don't know if that's boring to people when I talk about it on here, or if it's not, I don't know. But, I started it because I just had seen that video. That's like a 3-minute video. I think PETA still has it on their website. I honestly haven't looked. I can't believe nobody's asked me about my Instagram stuff, though. I've been posting a lot of pictures of monkeys and orangutans over there, and I'm really into the saving the orangutan. The organizations around that and everything. I've been posting pictures of the monkeys and the orangutans. I follow like 5 accounts now that are about that. I love them. I don't know what started it for me. I started just reading all these articles, you know, but when I started it, it was really well, I mean, if somebody on the street, like when we go out to dinner and it's like somebody I don't know, and they're like, well, how did you become a vegetarian? I'm like, well, I saw this video and it was about how to reduce your carbon imprint on the world, you know? And it was like, if each person just was a vegetarian for 30 days, then you greatly reduce your carbon imprint. And it's not just about not killing animals. It's about like carbon monoxide emissions. And it's like, you're really helping the environment on a greater level than you have any clue. If you watch this video and like watch the other videos, and yes, they are total propaganda, but like there's truth to what they're saying as well, because I've read a lot of these books. If you want to become a vegan, I'll tell you a great book to become a vegan. If you're a woman, it's called Skinny B-I-T-C-H, and if you're a man, it's called Skinny Bastard. And it's really these books that they dispel all the lies about, is the battery about to die? I think I can't see. Yeah, the battery's about to die. But they go in and they talk about like how aspartame is horrible for you, which I still drink Diet Coke. And they talk about like eating red meat and why we are not built to be carnivores and all this kind of stuff, and whether you agree with that or not, it's whatever. But the book is really well done, and it's kind of in your face. It's kind of hard not to like read it and be like, ooh, you know, like I'm taking this personally kind of thing, you know. But I started it with reducing my carbon imprint in that video, and I just thought, hey, let's see if I can do it for 30 days, you know? Do you guys remember back in the day? And then after that, it was like, okay, I did it for 30 days. Can I do it for 60 days? Can I do it for 90 days? And I was telling somebody that I remember when we went to the Dominican Republic, I don't even know if I've talked about this on here, but like, we went to this all-inclusive that was gorgeous, that Secrets place, and I was like, I'm eating meat. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna get through this and not eat meat. And Alex is like, now wait a second, you've worked really hard on doing this. So let me tell you what happened. Okay, first of all, my battery died while I was telling the story. Second of all, I pulled in back there to next to this little restaurant that I was telling you guys about called The Local, which is like one of my cousin's favorite restaurants that I've never been to. And so I pulled in to change the battery, thought I changed the battery, and was responding to text messages that I had gotten while I was vlogging. Then I drove off, and I'm like picking back up to where I was like, I couldn't remember exactly where I was, and then I remembered I was talking about the Dominican Republic, and then the battery died. I'm like, oh, I never changed the battery. I just responded to these text messages and thought I changed the battery. So I pulled in back here to this school and changed the battery, and then I started talking about a friend of mine. So just scratch those last 2 pieces. I won't include those. And we'll just pick up where the camera died. Oh my God, my back is killing me. I'm having battery problems and I'm losing it. So we got to the Dominican Republic. Our room wasn't going to be ready until the afternoon. So we went to go, I think it was like going to be ready in like an hour or 2 or something. So we were like, let's go eat. So there was like, you know, those like cheeseburger kind of grill things that resorts have, like that are on the beach. We were eating there. We were eating outside. It was real cute. And I was like hangry. I was hungry, angry, you know what I mean? And tired. Like I was tired from traveling. I just wanted to relax, have a Diet Coke. And I was hungry. I really wanted to eat. And so, I was like, well, there's not going to be anything on the menu. And Alex was like, we'll find you something. Don't worry about it, babe. And I was like, no, I think I'd just eat a cheeseburger or something. And I remember, I don't know how I remember this, but there was a Philly cheesesteak on the menu. Now, I don't think I've ever had a Philly cheesesteak in my life. I may have once in my, I don't know. But for some reason, it sounded so good. And I wanted this Philly cheesesteak, right? Oh my God, look at this field of mushroom plant. Look how gorgeous that is. Can you see? So pretty, isn't it? So anyway, I wanted this Philly cheesesteak so bad. I was like, I'm gonna have this. And Alex was like, wait a second. He was like, we'll talk to the waiter and see if he can do something for you special. And I was like, because sometimes when you go to restaurants, their idea of special is, we'll stir fry some vegetables for you. And honestly, when everybody else is having cheeseburgers and fries, like the stir fried vegetables are not what you want. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, they're just not. Like, if you're a vegetarian and you've been in that situation, you'll know what I'm talking about, okay? It's like if you go somewhere and the restaurant's trying to be really nice and they're trying to be accommodating, which is cool, but it's like at the same time you're like, I don't really want, you know, some stir-fried vegetables. I really want a cheeseburger is what I want. Honest to God, if you're a restaurant owner, always just have a veggie burger on your menu. Like, just have an option like that. That's pretty normal, that most people can go to. Even if it's just like Morningstar burgers, just have a veggie burger on your menu. I don't understand why any restaurant you go to doesn't just have a package of veggie burgers they keep in the back for the person that comes through there that is a vegetarian. You know what I mean? So anyway, because it's really that simple. Put it on a fancy brioche bun if you want to be a fancy restaurant or whatever and call it a day. It doesn't, and the more normal the veggie burger is, I think the better, honestly. It doesn't have to be some hyped up homemade black bean burger. I don't even like that. When it all falls apart and stuff, it's not, I don't like that. So anyway, the waiter comes and Alex talks to him and it's like speaking to him in Spanish, and the guy's like super nice. And so he's like, so he walks away, and I said, well, what did you get? He was like, he's gonna make you a grilled cheese with fries. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of, to be honest with you, I was kind of frustrated at that point, because I had already kind of in my head, like, checked out and decided that I wasn't gonna be a vegetarian anymore, that I was gonna eat meat. And I also think that just for any people out there that are YouTubers or make YouTube videos or whatever, I think I was also highly concerned about if I stopped being a vegetarian, I was going to receive all of this criticism for it, and that people were going to be like, oh, he didn't do it, and blah, 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 whatever. And if you're going to be a vegetarian, I don't care who you do. I don't care if you tell everybody in the world or you tell nobody, but do it for yourself. Don't do it for that reason. I have seen so many, like, YouTubers, influencers, call them whatever you want, make these huge apology videos about why they decided to stop being vegan or why they decided to stop being a vegetarian. That's a personal decision, okay? If you want to be a vegetarian because you want to be one. Don't be one because you, like, think, and I wasn't. I did it for myself, but then all these people were kind of interested in my journey of being a vegetarian, and I was worried that if like I stopped one day and ate a cheeseburger, everybody was going to be highly critical of me. I'm not there today. If tomorrow I want to eat a cheeseburger and not be a vegetarian anymore, I'm going to eat a cheeseburger tomorrow. My haters are probably like, oh, this is where he gets ready because he's going to stop being a vegetarian. No, I have no desire to stop being a vegetarian today. I'm just kind of telling you the journey of how I got to the point where I have no desire to stop being a vegetarian. So, because I do think that you, in like the first year or two, have these moments that you go through where you're like, I just can't do this. Like, I can't realistically live in a world. And I think there are some cities that are easier than others. Like when Alex and I went to San Diego, I could not believe the options out there. I mean, we would go to brunch and it would be like soy chorizo and this and soy chorizo and that. And there was all of these different options. We don't have that in Indiana. I've never been to a restaurant in Indiana other than an Impossible Burger or a Beyond Burger where there is some option. I mean, like maybe like Qdoba did that, you know, meat inside of it, whatever. But I've never been to a restaurant in Indianapolis where they have like soy chorizo on their menu or anything like that. I mean, unbelievable, you know? They would have like quiches that were specifically made. Well, Cafe Patashu actually has like, I think they have a lot of vegan options. 3 vegan omelets, and some other stuff that they have on their menu. So they are really pretty accommodating. But the other thing is, the higher class of a restaurant you go to, the more options they have, I think, for veganism or vegetarianism, vegans or vegetarians. But like if you go to like an Applebee's, there aren't that many great options, you know? And I like an Applebee's every once in a while. So that was the day one in the Dominican Republic. And then what was weird was every night we would go to dinner, and I just did like pizzas by the beach and stuff like that, like margarita pizzas. I remember they had like a little pizza shack thing there, and I would do that. And but then every night when we would go out to dinner, you know, if you've gone to those all-inclusives, it's like you pick a salad, you pick a soup or something, you pick like an appetizer, you pick like one from each section. There was always a vegetarian option. I never had a problem the rest of the week, and not once did I have a problem. So it was totally fine. And then I think that was actually like a hurdle that I had to kind of get over to realize that I could do it. And I could travel and still be a vegetarian. And I don't know, over time it just got easier and easier and easier. I just don't even think about it today. I really, really don't, you know? I mean, when I look at a menu, obviously, I look at it as, you know, there are things I can have and there are things I can't have. But it's almost kind of like if I go to a clothing store and I'm looking at a rack of shirts and it's like small, medium, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to fit in an extra small or a small. So it's kind of like I just go buy the extra smalls, go buy the smalls, go buy the extra smalls, mediums, go buy those, you know, until I get to my size. And so it's kind of like that when I'm looking at a menu. I don't know if that makes sense. If you're a vegetarian, you're like, yeah, it makes total sense. You just kind of go over all the things that have like meat in them. I never look at like really the entree section or like the chicken or the I never look at those sections. So I couldn't even tell you what's on those menus in those sections. I typically look at the appetizers, I look at the salads, and I look at pastas. Is typically what I look at. So, and it's what I do today. It isn't like I don't put a lot of thought into it or anything, you know? It's really not that hard. I almost think the more you think about it, the harder it is. I almost feel like when I was really like thinking a lot about it, it was, I don't know, it was harder, you know? There's a couple places in Indianapolis that have pretty good options. I was just thinking like Blue Sushi. They have like an entire thing of vegetarian sushi rolls. They have this one that is called like the Cowboy or Cowgirl or something like that. And it's supposed to taste like a cheeseburger. It was kind of like when we got it, like the first time we went there, because Alex wanted to try it too. it was kind of so much tasted like a cheeseburger. It was almost kind of unsettling. Then what happened was, I think it was Jenna Marbles, I saw in a video, and she said she could never eat her pets. I think it was Jenna Marbles that said this. If it wasn't Jenna Marbles, I'm not sure who it was. But she said she was a vegetarian because she realized she could never eat her pets because her pets had souls and personalities. And I was like, okay, like I so relate to that. And that is how I am today about it with the animals. Like I would say today the health is not a huge part of it because I'm not a healthy vegetarian. Although I do think down the road, long term, you got to think about it this way, okay? I'm not saying that red meat or chicken or any of those things are bad for you, but if you already look at how I eat as like a fast food junkie eater, then you got to imagine that if I'm going to go to restaurants and eat, I'm going to be eating a lot of cheeseburgers from fast food restaurants if I was not a vegetarian. I'm going to eat a lot of chicken sandwiches that are not healthy. I'm going to be eating chicken fingers when I go out to restaurants. So we're going to take my health level of being here and we're going to make it even 10 times worse with my cholesterol levels and all that kind of stuff. And so look at this man. He's rather handsome. He and I like have the same color hair, and his hair is like swooped over. So I would say a lot of it today is I do the best to be plant-based. Oh, he's staring over at me. Well, he's got 2 baby seats in the back seat of his car. 2 baby seats means he's taken and poor. No, I'm joking. And I'm taken and I don't have that responsibility, but he is attractive. It is a lot about, you know, doing it because I don't feel like I'm contributing to all of that today, you know, and I feel like I'm doing my part to make this world a little bit of a better place, just a little bit, you know. And like I said, it's really not difficult at all. I think that's the thing, is that for so long, I really like thought it's going to be so hard, or I made it harder on myself, when it really isn't that hard, you know? If you thought about it, I mean, I would never tell somebody they have to be. And I'm not that person either. Like, I think that's the thing that's most surprising to people, is that they expect, like, a fight or an argument, and I'm just not that person. You know, when people ask me questions about it, I'm like, here's the deal. But, like, I'm never like, you should be a vegetarian, you should do it, it's bad for you to be. I never say any of that kind of stuff, you know? Hell, my husband cooks chicken fingers right at home, so I could care less. You know, it's like, do you. Do what makes you happy in this world. You're only here for but a moment anyway. But like, if you've ever thought about it, because I thought about it before both times of doing it. I've always had lots of friends of mine that were vegetarians, lots. But before doing it, I always thought about, you know, doing it, but I never did. And just go watch that. There's a lot of actually really good documentaries now, supposedly, out about being a vegetarian. If you're a vegetarian and you know what some of those documentaries are, can you drop them in the comment section below? I can't remember what they're called. The one has got a cow on the front of it. I can't remember what it's called. But they're good documentaries. Some of them I've seen, some of them I haven't seen. And say I'm going to try it. Say I'm going to do it for 30 days. Just like that thing says, you know, if you can do it for 30 days, even if you can do it for a week, you know, you're helping out the world a little bit. You're decreasing your carbon imprint on the world, you know. And we were talking last night about, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said to me that he had heard this thing recently that really changed his opinion on us needing to continue to come to meetings and stay sober. And he said, somebody told me, we've got to stay sober and we've got to continue to come to meetings to keep meetings alive for the alcoholic and the addict that hasn't even been born yet. And I thought about that, you know, and I thought, here are these men and women that got sober long before I was ever born. And had they not gotten sober and stayed sober, there wouldn't have been a program for me to come to get sober. And I think about it the same way, you know, we've got to like, it's like I asked this guy that I was, you know, judging with last year, I said to him something, we were talking about recycling, and I said, why did you start recycling? And he goes, when I had kids, I started thinking about the earth in a completely different way. You know, I wanted there to be a beautiful planet for my kids to be able to enjoy as well, and their kids to enjoy. And I think that's a big part of it, you know? So anyway, there's my journey. My journey a little bit. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get off here and I'm gonna head up to the, well, I think I'm gonna get gas first, and then I'm gonna, I'm like leaning over. I'm kind of like afraid to get out of the car because I'm like in this position where it like hurts, but it's kind of comfortable, but I'm afraid if I get out and like walk around, it's gonna start hurting. But I'm gonna get off here now and I'm gonna probably go get gas and then go to Starbucks and do this review. And yeah, so I love you guys. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And I will be back later tonight to vlog. And if I'm feeling better, if not, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. And I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.